Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to United View. Welcome to the road trip for Man United against Brighton. And I ain't going to lie to you, it's an early start. As you can see, I need the light even from the car to light me up. It's gloomy. It's still pretty dark early in the morning from down south where I'm at. And this is just what we have to do to go watch Man United. Listen, been doing it for years, so I ain't looking for sympathy. I'm just painting a picture for you. I'm just painting a picture for you. If it looks like I'm hiding out, like I've slept in the car all night and I'm just scheming, yeah, it ain't that. It's literally just at the time of doing the road trip. It ain't even light yet, but we got to get moving on the roads. We got to start moving. This is what it is. This is what it is. So that's why anytime these criminals, yeah, do a madness, yeah, and lose games in horrible ways at home, especially when we're traveling all this way, we feel it. But you know what? I'm not going to moan too much, because shout out to the guys who travelled very, very far distances for the last game against Southampton. I met people from Australia. There was people from Melbourne, a big family. Hopefully you guys are watching right now. You guys know who you are. There was a family from Canada. There was a family, or couple, should I say, from Chicago, Illinois. So, yeah, I ain't out here trying to say, oh, I'm doing the most distance. You know what I'm saying? Because we all support this club from various corners of the globe. So, shout out to everybody who is watching from afar, and shout out to everybody who has made or is making maybe today or has made today the long distance from wherever it may be in the world. Big game, you know what I mean? Time to have a chance anyway to get back-to-back W's in the Premier League. We have to start mounting together a succession of results. It's as simple as that. There's no hiding away from that. We have to put ourselves in a position to say we're really turning a corner, that we win back-to-back games and build up some confidence, especially in this period of games whereby we're playing a lot of the teams that are either around us or not the traditional top six. However, I understand beggars can't be choosers, and for us in this position, playing people like Fulham away or playing somebody like Brighton, who are at the right end of the table, they're difficult games. They're not games where we just go, oh, tick that one off easy, tick that one off easy, as we saw against Southampton. So I'm under no illusions as to how difficult this game is and the subsequent games coming for us to try and turn our season around, or at least get a little bit of stability so we're not just losing every single game, and get safe. You know what I mean? My biggest problem today is midfield. We looked leggy against Southampton. You know, Ruben Amorim spoke about it. He took responsibility and put the blame onto himself. He said, it's my fault. Manu Ugarte was running against two guys. Kobe Mainoo off at half-time, didn't have his best game. And actually by half-time, you know, we were 1-0 down and could have been more. Again, he's not the scapegoat. He was just one of many who could have been taken off, because it was a difficult watch, a difficult half against Southampton. And when people press us and go 1v1, we haven't worked out the mechanics of how to play through that press. We go long. The only difference, we didn't change our playing style against Southampton. That wasn't the reason why we got back into the game. We changed personnel. And, you know, it was Joshua Zirkzee's ability to be able to hold up the ball and be an outlet, because we still had to go long because Southampton carried on playing in the right way. It's just that he made the ball stick and made things happen. So from that perspective, you know, you could say we possessed weaponry that basically, you know, undone what Southampton were doing to us, because they didn't change. And Jurix was saying that they were naive, you know, having been one up, and he didn't change anything. I saw his post-match comments. But we can't always rely on that. Brighton are a far better team than Southampton. You don't need me to tell you that. We all know that. And in midfield, I just think we got a little bit of an issue. If Ugarte is tired, Kobe's not doing the best. If you start to look at the options of what it could be, do you move Bruno Fernandes back into that sixth position? Do you move Toby Collier in off the bench? Do you give him a start? You know, you've got the likes of Baliba in Brighton's midfield, who is very physical, can get about the park. They could either play a 4-1-4-1, very adaptable, or a 4-2-3-1, or a 4-3-3. Hertzler is very, very adaptable. Likes of João Pedro, Minter, Adingra, Mitoma. Oh, lad! Danny Welbeck off the bench, you know what I mean? Evan Ferguson's not even getting a look in. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I think I think we have to get that midfield right. What we can't afford to do is pick the wrong two and give up a half, because giving up a half against Brighton, who, let's be honest, they deal with us quite regularly. You know what I mean? They dealt with us earlier on this season, last minute winner. They dealt with us at Old Trafford, I want to say last 2 years in a row. Why do I want to say that? I feel like they've dealt with us the last 2 years in a row. And at their place, we know infamous stuff that's happened. I'm not going to talk about goalposts and touching them and stuff like that. And just generic licks we get every time we go there. So, yeah, I mean, we don't play well there. But actually, I think last year we ended up winning there, didn't we? But it didn't really matter. It was near the end of the season. Remember Hoyland come off the bench and scored. But it was the end of the season. We know it's a difficult team. And I just think if Ruben Amorim, you know, picks the wrong midfield, or the midfield starts off bad, we're in trouble. We're really, really in trouble. I think Lenny Yoro, of course, I think it goes without saying, you take him out the firing line. He had a really difficult evening against Sadio Souleymane, because that's who he was playing against. He was basically playing against Sadio Mane. And he needed a bit of help. And, you know, the manager didn't change it. So it goes down as a sort of baptism of fire, but a big learning curve for Lenny Yoro. That's it. I don't know any 19-year-olds, or not many anyway, that I can think of off the top of my head, /18-year-olds that have come into this league from another league as a centre-half and just smashed it. Do you know what I mean? Big players have taken a while to develop, especially at centre-half. This is his grounding period. This is his he's getting to know the Premier League period. He's going to have a year of just having some starts, being on the bench, coming off the bench. That's all he needs this year. And that was a good baptism of fire for him. It's better for him to learn tough and let him know mentally what this thing is. And then he can start to, you know, come back in easy. So I bring in Harry Maguire, get that calmness in at centre-back. Right centre-back, of course, Matthias de Ligt, who's been an absolute monster in the last few games. So I'd definitely start him. Lisandro Martinez is lucky to be getting away with it again. I thought he was poor again against Southampton, but for balance, you probably play him again. And then the wing-back situation is interesting because AMAD scored a flipping hat-trick from wing-back. He scored a hat-trick from wing-back. But if you're moving Bruno back potentially in midfield, that would probably create a domino effect elsewhere. And AMAD will probably have to play in the 10. Don't want to see Anthony playing in there at all. There's no Mason Mount. I can't see him going for Christian Eriksen in the 10 position. But what does he do with Joshua Zirkzee? Does he start him up front? Well, first of all, he needs to make sure he flipping starts him, Ruben Amorim. I think this experiment with Rasmus Højlund for the last couple of games hasn't paid off. He's had to come off both times, and Zirkzee's had to come on and really up the ante and up the performance level. And if Amorim is being serious with what Zirkzee's done in the first two games, he's got to start him. If he doesn't, that would be stubbornness to me, and I don't think Amorim's that sort of manager. So I think that he should start Zirkzee, and I think he will. Dalot comes back in. I think it was only a one-game ban, innit? So for balance, probably goes back on at left wing back for balance. So yeah, I today's gonna be a struggle, peeps. I ain't gonna lie. You can see it in my face. It's early. This is how I feel. I think midfield's gonna be a problem for us. And if we don't start Zirkzee, and even starting Zirkzee, like we've seen with Rasmus and Zirkzee, they take it in turns to basically outdo each other off the bench. Then you go with the opposite one. They get the start, and traditionally that person doesn't start well. I really hope Zirkzee breaks that and carries on the confidence that he's got. But we can't just rely on AMAD, man, as well. We can't just go, AMAD will save us. AMAD will save us. That shit's going to run out, man. Poor guy's playing out of his skin. You know what I mean? 6 and 6. 6 goals, 6 assists, I think he's got now. So we can't, I don't think we can keep relying on him. Hopefully he's having a season of his life and he can keep scoring at this rate. Of course, I want to see more madness today, but we've got to start sharing these goals out, man. Brighton, tough team. Even score prediction. I'm getting a bit, I'm nervous. I don't even really want to commit to it because you can tell I think we're going to struggle with this one. I'll leave it there. Owen's going to be on the match for you. Make sure you guys check that out. And I'll be at Old Trafford for the reaction straight after the game to hear what the fans have to think. Hopefully, after another 3 points. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm out of here. I'll see you there. Peace.